Good morning, everyone. It's Key of W with more Artisan of Glimmith, the brand new game from developers of Islands of Insight, and so on. Hold on, let me read anything else on the script for the beginning of every video. I don't think so. I think that's everything. All right. So recently we finished the main portion of the game, I believe, and I've done a little bit of extra work cleaning up more window stuff. Once you finish the game, you're allowed to get some extra puzzles and bejewel your windows. And we've had some frustrating puzzles in there, and I've had a chance to calm down. No, it's all right. Actually, the puzzle that was over here, the Sevener, this one, I think it's a fine puzzle. I was just getting very frustrated because it felt like I was going around in circles. Um, I'm not sure how you design around that as a puzzle designer. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that problem. It's just kind of a thing that exists. But I'm going to move on to this area. This was our Gemini Delta zone, one of the early ones where we left this Sevener alone. So we're going to touch this one. I don't know if we're going to get all in one video because I really don't want these to be 2-hour long excursions into puzzles. So now we're looking for quite a lot. And I can do this to see all the puzzles. Well, this one's not even one of the crimson ones. I just missed that one. Yeah, that's going to happen a lot. But I was right. I think I said earlier on that I was going to push through the game and hopefully the game was going to give me a way to find puzzles I missed, and it does. Okay, so tab doesn't do anything when you're not hovering over the window. I knew it did something when hovering over the window, but I would always press tab twice. I didn't realize when you press tab, it's permanent. I could just leave that on, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to look for stuff on my own for a bit. It's not a matter of pride. It's just this is kind of unsightly to me. Just get rid of that. So I'm going to jump in and grab this puzzle. This is not one of the special new puzzles, but I think I can take care of it. All regions must be one of these shapes. Well, I know that the shape... Wait. This shape... Okay, so if that shape was in here... Okay, I was just trying to figure out... The shape isn't this, because it would have to go into that spot. So it isn't there. But it could be rotated this way, and then it could be rotated this way? No, because it would have to be the same symbol there, so it would have to be here. How would it be in there without touching that spot? Because that's the trick, really, is I have to figure out how to get it in there. So I think it actually has to be here. Yes, this is how it's going to go. This is the position of the shape. Because what I can't do is have these two be the same, right? Because then I'd have to have these two be different, and there's no way to do that with this shape. That was the problem I was running into. So I have to make the shape here, and that way this has to be part of the same shape, but then, okay, so this is the other one. This has to be part of that shape without moving downward, and that's how you do it. Yep. That's the answer to that puzzle. Great. So that was that. Let me hit these. So there should be, what, 5 left? There's 6 left. And when we do this, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 red puzzles. Wait, 1, 2. Oh, and there's 2 regular ones I missed. There's something, yeah, hidden in that corner. All regions must be one of these shapes. So we either got dominoes or we got F pieces. Well, I know we can't have a domino in either of those spots because a domino would cause an orphan cell. So we have to have an F, and that's the only way you can set the F up, which is going to leave an F here. So the only way you can set that up. I feel like I get a little bit better with rotating the shapes in my mind, provided I get a lot of chances with them. And so, like, you know, dominoes, triominoes, tetraominoes, pentominoes, I'm okay. Once we start getting larger than that, I really struggle with these puzzles. As we probably saw a couple videos ago, really struggled with that puzzle. We have to have another F shape here. The question is which direction it goes. It could be that way or that way. Actually, this way would cause an immediate failure in the puzzle. So it's going to be up here. We're going to have a domino there. We can't put an F piece here. It's not going to work because there's nowhere for it to go. If it extends, right? Any piece that extends into the center has to go both up and down, or up 2 spaces. So we have to have a domino there. We have to have an F piece here with this shape, which means we have to have a domino there. We have to have an F shape up here. And it can't be that. That's going to cause complete breakdown. So we're going to have dominoes here. And I think we can just put an F shape in. That's a cool puzzle. All right, let's hit these secret ones. And then save the 7s for later, maybe. We'll see. We'll jump in and grab this 3. The knife and the loofah aren't part of this, I guess. This isn't a loofah. I just can't immediately identify it. Am I supposed... Is it... It's not like a pumice stone. I don't know. I don't know what we've got here. All regions must be one of these shapes. I also don't know how to, make stained glass windows, so this might be a tool for that. So we got domino, triomino. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to have 2 dominoes and a triomino in here, right? We're going to have 2 plus 2 plus 3 in some order. Then here we have 6. We either have 2 3s or 3 2s. This is a 2 plus a 3. And then either 2s or 3s. This is perfect note-taking. This is how you're supposed to do this game, I think. I don't know if I'm being sarcastic when I say that. So one of these has to have 2 3s because we're going to put a 2 and a 3 in here. So one of these deltas will have a 2 and one of them is going to have a 3, which means that the opposite has to be true. And as soon as you put a single 2 or 3 on this side, you got to get all the way around. So I guess the way to work out this puzzle is to just kind of see all of it at once. So I imagine if I put 2s here, I would have to have 3, 2, then put 3s there, and then put a 2 and a 3. Does that work? Well, right? Because if I make this side the dominoes, this actually has to be a domino, right? And then this side would have to be the triomino, which would put a domino here. Okay, that actually just solves the puzzle, I think. I'm going to imagine, what if I do the other way? What if there's triominoes on this side? If there's triominoes on this side, I have to put a triomino here and 2 dominoes. That also put a domino here and a triomino. Yes, that would break the puzzle. So it is, in fact, dominoes here. It has to be. And then here is going to be the triomino. Domino. Then we have to do this. Then, yeah. I just wanted to make sure I didn't, right? I solved the puzzle. I could have just gone for it. I just want to make sure I didn't have the logic wrong, because if I could solve the puzzle going the other way, I knew I had it wrong. Okay. Yeah, 3 difficulty I'm fine with. Once we get to 6, well, I don't know. The 6s have been okay, except for that one I hated. It's the 7s that I don't know if I can solve. We'll see 4. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Well, these 2 spaces have to be part of the same unit. There's really no getting around that. And they can't be part of the L, so we are forced to make a T shape here. It could go that way, it could go this way, but we do have to have a T shape now there, and the only way to do a T shape is here. And we've broken the puzzle, because I'm wrong. The only way to do a T shape is here, because we can't go into that space. So we need the L shape here and there. So how do I make an L shape here without breaking the puzzle? If I go like this, we're screwed. So I have to go this way, and this way, and that way. I think there's just no getting around it. These are required moves. Oh, this could be part of the same unit. We're not sure. This has to be T-shape as well. And it could... No, this T-shape couldn't be like here. So this has to be part of the shape there. We have to have more purple there. A purple shape here would break the puzzle. I hope I'm doing this one right. We have to have that. So that means the purple shape is this one, another one, another one. And yeah, that's the one. It's an interesting puzzle. All right, how many more left? There's 3. 2 of them are 7s. Wait, what's this? 5, 7 back here. 6 is back there, and then a 7. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's go for it. I have a feeling that it's going to take me 10 minutes to get through the next 2, and then it's going to take 45 minutes minimum to do the last one. Okay. S piece, S tetromino, a T pentomino, or a Y pentomino. Okay. I'm going to look at this corner for a second. If I had an S piece up here, that's doable because I could put one there. I cannot put a T. If I tried a T, we're going to be blocked in. So we know it's not that. A Y piece is also possible. This would break the puzzle easily. Well, hold on a second. Y puzzle, it's just going to break it because we're going to put the Y here. So we are locked into using S to start ourselves off. So we can't have S pieces here. Well, the S piece wouldn't fit here anyway. In fact, no, we have T can go in there, but also the Y can go in there just fine. Hold on. If I put a Y piece in here, if I move it upward, I think I break the puzzle here because an S piece in this location breaks it and the T piece can't go in there. If I move it this way, how would it fit? Yeah, so this has to be a T shape. There's nothing I can do about it. Here cannot be an S shape because we'd have that. Y shape doesn't fit, so we have another T shape like this. That's going to force a Y shape. Okay, so now this piece could be an... can't be an S. If we put an S piece here, we also have to put one there, but those pieces must be different. So we must make a more different piece, and that makes a Y piece here and a Y piece there. They can't be some of the same pieces, so we can't do that. It has to go down at least this far. And it could move in here. It would fit the Y piece nicely. Would it break the puzzle in any other way? No. That's fine. We could put S pieces down there. This one there, if I move this one down, yeah, this would break the puzzle if I went straight down, because no matter where I put the little nub of the Y, we can't fit another piece in there. So it really was that. Now in this location, we can, if I move this way, we'd have to put another Y. That breaks the puzzle. If I put a Y shape in here, there's nothing I can put there because of my shapes here. So that has to be it, which means a Y shape breaks the puzzle again. So I have to use a T shape would break the puzzle again. So yep, it is S. I just want to make sure I ran through the options. We could put an S here or we could put a Y. There are two options. Let's see if this breaks things. Yeah, we'd have to ask what goes in this shape. If I make a Y shape here, right, it has to move up there. The nub has to be here. So the question is, what piece goes here? Y shape won't fit. There's not enough room. A T shape would cause a problem in the bottom left because no shape can go down here now. Y shape won't fit because it's only 3 across. T shape won't fit going up, and then an S shape would leave an orphan. So we could put an S shape here. Well, now, what shape goes in this little crevice? We can't put an S, a T, or a Y. So there's not a Y shape there. There's not a T shape here. It doesn't fit. So I think we have another S shape. Now we can't have a T shape there because we leave an orphan space. So could it be a Y? If it's a Y, it has to be like this. That's the only way. Because if we do it this way, we orphan the space, right? So if we made a Y shape here, we could not put a Y shape there. But if there's no Y shape here, what is the shape? Nothing fits. Therefore, we don't have that. We have to have another S shape. No, this doesn't work either. What goes here? Maybe it was a Y shape. I don't see how this could work, though. This doesn't work. Okay. Have I made an assumption somewhere else I can't use? Well, these two have to be the same. These all have to be different. Well, so let's suppose we have this here, and hold on, what can touch this? An S piece touching here always leaves an orphan. So a T shape can't go there. So we do know this is Y. Now, is it this direction Y? Or is it this direction Y? Either way, can't have them here. Now, this can't be a Y shape, because if it is a Y shape, it blocks that one in. This could be... It can't be a T shape. It's got to be an S shape. This would leave an orphan, so would that. Have I, like, is it wrong from step 1? That would be so hilarious. This has to be Y. This has to be... something. This has to be... I mean, this could be the S piece easily, right? Like, this is fine. This leaves an orphan piece, though. Let's go back to this top section here. Because I was so confident with these S's here. But this is breaking the puzzle. This is a acceptable place, but now there's nowhere to put that. So yes, it is S. It is correct. We've gone back to that. So now we don't have, again, so we can have in this space that or a T. Let's think about what if we did put a T shape here. It would not move that way, it would move this way, but we'd need another T shape there. So we do in fact have Y shapes here, which is going to force T. So that was all correct. It kind of seems like I don't really have another option. A Y shape here would force, because something has to be up there. I know it has to come out this way. So now without the rest of these in the way, looking at this space, once again, we can't put a red shape in here. The S shape, we can't put the T shape in there, so it is still a Y. It could be here, or it could be there. Now, could a purple shape be here? Right, because this isn't wrong. This can't be wrong. Because I can't make anything but S's. And then I can't put two T shapes. So it's got to be two Y shapes. Which means whatever goes down here means I can't put a T shape there. So I'd have to have an S, and then I'd have to have two T shapes. But they're not going to fit. Unless this is wrong. Oh, no, hold on. I can fit it like that. But then, how do you get two T shapes here, right? You can't, so this is now a T shape. Okay, how do I fit something here? That's not going to work. T shape won't go there. T shape can go here just fine. Here just fine. It's just what do you fit in the rest of these spaces? So there's that. Is there a different way to make these then? Well, we can just think about what goes in that space. Right? If we just take these out for a second. A red in this space would force this move, which is wrong. A purple in this space would be incomprehensible because there's no way to fit it. So we know this is a green space. We also know that it can't be a horizontal Y with a nub facing upward. It has to go down like this. This would now block us in. So we are stuck with the Y. We have to at least go down here. This is a doable move, but so is this. We have a couple options there. Back over here, we need this to be a Y shape. Like, great, this is a perfect start, but then what goes here? This would put a red here, and then we would be in so much trouble in this area. That's just not going to work. In fact, any purple here. Yeah, if we had a purple here at all, this is one way you could do it. I think this is the shape. This might be the only way, but now... What do I do here? Oh, duh, this is not complete. Duh. Okay, this is fine. This is the shape. All right. So up here... So when I had made this section up here, I was actually correct. This was correct. It was just that I had this shape right here incorrect. And also trying to figure out how to arrange these was a nightmare. Interesting idea. Kind of like that one. All right, let's move on to this sixer, and we'll see how long it takes. Is that all I got left? I got the sixer and the sevener. I might put the 7 in its own video. That might just be its own thing. We'll see. We have a little guy in the center. We have to have elbow, an L shape, or a P shape. All right. Huh. I'm going to start with this piece right here, or this one right here. It doesn't matter which side. If I wanted to start here. Now we have to have at least an elbow. So we have to come out this way. Now if I make just an elbow, we have an orphan piece. That's not very nice. If we said, all right, it's an L shape, that fits perfectly. Now if we said it's a P shape, that's what it looks like. We have 2 L shapes. This L shape breaks the puzzle. The reason this L shape breaks the puzzle now is that we have to put an L shape there. Now what do we do that? This is the only L shape that works. Like so. But the trouble now is that I could also do it the other way. See how that goes? Huh. Is there any other way to do this? So this has to be an L shape, because if it's an elbow, that's a problem. This is a problem. So we're going to start with that. That is for sure. The same thing is going to happen over here. P shape would cause a problem, so we can't have them there. These are L shapes, therefore they come out. Now they can't come out this way. I mean, sorry, they can't come out this way, excuse me. They can come out this far. They can't go down here. Well, one of them does and the other doesn't. So these are the spots, here, here, and there. Here, here, and there. So this spot is always taken by a purple as well as that. We just don't know which one. And then this spot is always taken by an elbow. And we're just going to leave this here. We're going to leave this incomplete because I don't know which these are and I won't know for a long time. But I will know, and by long time I mean 5 seconds, I think, because if we have to put an elbow piece here, we cannot put anything else. In fact, even if we took this out and we said we know that this is purple, if we brought this down, we're going to create orphans. So we know that these are the spaces and this is an elbow. We also know there's no P shapes in here because there's no way to put one in without creating orphans. Therefore, this is an elbow, moves down. That means the elbow piece has to be the same over here. These are elbows. And then here must be L shapes. That is that. Okay, so the center is taken care of exactly like so. So I'm just going to make some single pieces here. They're not connected, they're going to be broken. These are all going to be these shapes like so. These are all going to be elbows. This elbow must connect down here. There's really no way we can get around that. And then it's got to be there. That's the only way. So how do I make this L without breaking the entire puzzle? It has to be that. I hope I'm correct, because if I'm not and I end up in another going around circle situation, I think I'm going to kill everyone in the world and then myself. This is I don't see any way around this particular set. So we have 7 spaces up here. But we don't have to fill them with... See, I could put a P shape here and then make this the L shape, but I could also make this the elbow and make an L shape here, and then there's an L shape there. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing. Oh, let's look at this thing here. No, I don't have an answer for that. I could block this and then make an L shape like that, I think. But I could also do this. We don't really have a clear answer either way yet. Oh, hold on, I have an answer down here. I can't move the elbow to the left because it's the same shape that's up there. So I have to move the elbow to the right. So I could bring this L down, and it would actually be fine. I'd put a P shape here and an elbow there. But if I assume otherwise, I can't have a border here between these two. I was wondering maybe these are two separate L's. I can't have a border there because then this piece has to come down. Oh no, it can fit an L. I was thinking it has to fit a P shape. It doesn't have to fit a P shape. Why am I thinking about a P shape? Is P on my mind? I could fit another L and an elbow. So I could, in fact, put border between those two. Dang, there's a lot of possibilities here. This space could be an L or a P shape. Okay, well, how would I make an L shape here? That is a bad idea. This is a possibility. This is a bad idea. So the L shape would have to be this. Now, what do I put in the rest of this? If I put an L shape here, what do I fit? I can't put another L shape in without creating an orphan, so I'd have to put an elbow or a P shape. But there's 7 spaces here. A P shape takes 5 of them, which leaves 2 left over. You can't have that. You have to have an elbow and an L shape. There's an elbow or that's an elbow. Either way, we can't solve this section. So I think we have to have a P shape here, and then the elbows become very obvious. So now it's a question of what goes in here. So let me think about this space. We either have an elbow or we have a P shape. I know, we've had to fix that. Actually, I think I have the puzzle solved in my mind. I think I just see it. I see the answer. I'm going to just show you. I just have it. This is the answer. Here, there, 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 done. Excuse me, game. Thank you. Yeah, what is it? Sometimes the 6s are just fine. I get through them without really having to struggle, and then that happens. So we only have one left in this area, and I am not going to do it in this video. I'm going to come back to this and make a separate video for it, and that'll be the next one, but I won't stop now. I'm going to do a couple more puzzles. So I know this section's done. This one is not even close. I'm going to do a couple more puzzles here. And wait, hold on. By that I mean, nope, that one's done already. I'm just going to grab. Now these are going to be some easy ones we'll do for the next 10 minutes or so, and then I'll come back to the 7er. All regions must be a 3x4. Okay, so this, obviously we're breaking. So we have 4 across. I have 4 more across. All right, so what this means is I'm going to have something like this. I think I have what this should be. I think it has to be this shape. I'm guessing, really. I feel terrible, but I am guessing here. So now we have this going on. The rest of the shapes I'm going to put down here. Excuse me, game. Ah, stop it. Stop that. I think you see my vision. Yeah, not bad at all. What's in there? Puzzle I'm not allowed to do? Excuse me. Jeez. All regions must... Oh, don't ask me to rotate shapes in my mind! I'm going to start here. That's for sure. So is it this part of the horsey? Or the doggy shape? I don't know. There's the tail. There's the legs. There's the body. There's the nose. And there's the ears. Well, I can easily set it up like that. But can I set it up the other way? Where that's the tail? No, because it doesn't go far enough this direction. I would need to make a cross over here. But if this is the cross, I can do this just fine. What piece do I put up here? We have an elbow, and in fact, it's the tail and the back legs. That's what this is, and so that's the doggy over here. He's an upside down facing left doggy. Anything else? There must be a bend. Like, that's just how it is. There's no 3 in a row, right? Except here. But this 3 in a row has a bend on some side. Like that. Now, this can't be the front of the doggy. This is the back of the doggy. So this can't be the leg, because if this is the leg, this is the tail, and the doggy goes to the left into this area that doesn't exist. So this must in fact be the tail of the dog. That's the back leg. This is the front leg, and there he is. And it's fun because this doggy can play with his friend over here. I think that shape is correct. How about a doggy over here? Right? This doggy, this cannot be the tail of the doggy here, because then we would need a cross shape there. We need the body. It's not going to work. This cannot be the tail of the dog, because then that's the back leg, so the front leg would be here. Now we have a bunch of orphan spaces. Therefore, this is the front of the doggy. But this is the ears here, like so, because I need to fit somebody there. We have this doggy, and I think, did I just do it? A pile of doggies. All right. These puzzles, I think, are all just the rules we've already seen. Oh, here's the secret ones. I'm not going to touch those unless they're really easy right now, because I'm trying to get through a bunch quickly. We have O shapes, and then we have, I'm not sure what the 3x3 O is, just an O shape. I'm going to look at this bottom corner. It cannot be a big O, because what do we put here? This must be a little o, which is going to force a little o in that spot too. Now we got 6 across, but we can't have a little o in this corner, because then it would create a thing there. So we have to have a big O here, which forces a big O because we need something 3 across. That means we have a little o here and a little o above that. Since we have 3 spaces here, we must have a big O, which forces a little o there and there. And that is the O puzzle. A handful of silver. Turn 5 windows silver. I guess I did it. Well, yeah, because the first 4 windows in the game are the only ones I had done anything besides basic restoration. So this will always be my 5th window I'm working on. One more or so, 1 or 2, depends on how easy these are. Not that one. Looking at 3s are fine. Like anything 3 or below, I feel like I can do in 5 minutes without problem. The first law of puzzling: whenever you find a pair of cells that must be connected, join them together. Sure. All regions must be an O shape or just an I tetromino. Well, I guess what they mean is that these 2 must be together. These 2 also must be together, but we don't know if they're part of an O or part of 2 I's. But whatever the case, now these 2 have to go together and these 2 have to go together, which is going to force a tetromino down here, going to force a tetromino here, which means if these are tetromino, we're fine. This has to be just a regular tetromino, which is going to force one there. This is it. This is right. Well, O shape or tetromino here is going to force those 2 together and those 2 together, which means this one here has got to be a 3. Yes, I see the answer to this one now. That's got to be there. So now we have some O's down here. There. Like so. This has to be just tetrominos. We got to put another tetromino there, and now we just have O's. Excuse me. O. O. That is the first law of puzzling. And with that, I'm going to take a break here. So video will end, and then in the next video, I imagine the entire video will be this one puzzle. And if it isn't, then great. I do more things, but that's how it's going to go. Thanks so much for watching. It's been a great time. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.